Hello, welcome back to the Villa View. It's time for a match preview in association with BetMate as Aston Villa travel to Leeds on Sunday afternoon. Joined by a very, very special guest who only comes on the Villa View nowadays when he's got something that he wants to plug, but it is charity. So we'll let him get away with it. But before he joins me, let's have a quick look at my team with BetMate on Sunday for the Leeds Villa game. It should be, oh no, let's look at his face. Giving away the surprise, producer Adam Bates. Here he is, Tom Julian, doing the fun run on Sunday. Is it called a fun run?
I don't think it's not going to be fun at all. It's the London Marathon is called.
The London Marathon. What's a fun run? Oh, I've done a fun run before. I'm getting confused. There we go. There's my team in association with BetMate. So you can join the Leeds v Villa pot and you'll have a chance of winning some money on Sunday afternoon. Please gamble responsibly as always. You'll have every chance of beating me. I'm absolutely rubbish at everything to do with football at the moment, including this. So yeah, that's a team I've gone for. Jacob Ramsey as my captain, Douglas Luiz in there as well, because I reckon he might score from a corner or at least have a shot from a corner, which seems one of Villa's only avenues of scoring a goal nowadays. Ollie Watkins and Martinez look like they could be injured according to this app. I'm hoping that's false information, but that's what it says up on the screen at the moment. So that's my team. Pick your team, join the pot, try and beat me, try and beat Christopher Dolan. You'll probably beat us both. So as I was mentioning before, Tom is here. He isn't going to be having a fun run at all because I imagine you haven't done loads of training times, because we know when you train because you put it on social media, and I've only seen one training post in the last 2-3 months, to be honest.
No, I have been training, and I think I went through a phase of just not putting it on social. So if you follow my Strava, you'll see that I have been running every week, probably twice a week, and yeah, I'm feeling all right. Like it's a 26-mile fun run, as you accurately put it.
That was.
And that's so I've run about 30 kilometers, 32 kilometers, I think was my total run, which is just over 3/4 of the total distance. And that's what you're supposed to do. It still feels like there's quite a chunk missing there to still have some left in the tank. But yeah, just looking kind of a mixture of looking forward to it and dread now. It's only a couple of days away. There's nothing else to do. So I've done as much as I can with family and work commitments and stuff like that. I've eaten pretty well, drunk less, and ran as much as I can. So now it comes down to Sunday, and hopefully the crowd gets us through, and the kind of, I'll be thinking about the NSPCC as I run around. So hopefully that will drag me around as well.
Try and finish before the Villa game starts as well at 4:30 on Sunday. Is that the ambition?
I should hope I finish before then. So I start at 10 past 10, I think is my official start time. And I'm hoping to do it in around 4 hours. I think just under 4 hours is too ambitious. But 4:10 is my kind of prediction. So a couple of hours recovery. And then I'm hoping, if anybody's watching from the London Lions, I'll be up for watching the game in a bar in London somewhere. So hit me up if there's somewhere to watch the game in London.
I'm sure there'll be somewhere. The London Lions always have a big tribe out for Villa games, I believe. You will be able to sponsor Tom if you wish to do so. The link is in the description of this video, hopefully, if Adam Bates has put it there. He's nodding his head. He has put it there. So yeah, please sponsor Tom if you can. I certainly know I need to go and do that after this show, so I'll sponsor Tom as well. If as many people can as possible. You're doing it for a really good cause, aren't you, Tom?
Yeah, so I signed up with the NSPCC at the start of the year. I think a lot of us remember the Arthur Labino Hughes story with the young Birmingham City fan at the end of last year, just horrific. And there was a few more around Christmas, which really got to me. Just the frankly abhorrent abuse of children. Not the greatest way to start a podcast, but it really struck me, and I couldn't believe that. Well, I can believe that people do it, but I just wanted to support the NSPCC and what they're doing in trying to protect children. And so from there, I made a commitment to try and do a big challenge every week. Did that for a couple of months and then got COVID, which really knocked me out for a while. But instead, took on the charity with the London Marathon as the direction instead. So yeah, all things raised going to the NSPCC. So I know it's hard right now. I'm wearing a hat because we're in a crisis when it comes to heating and gas and all of that kind of stuff. So I know money is tight for everybody. But if if you do have a few spare quid that you can chuck in my virtual bucket, like Dan said, the link is below. Every little helps, so would really appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah, be sure to do that. So, Tom, you are here though to preview the Leeds game in exchange for plugging that you'll run. And so we do, obviously, you know what you're doing is amazing. I wish you all the best. I do not envy the task at all. I would really struggle doing that, so I don't envy you at all. So, wish you all the best. But we are here to preview Leeds v Aston Villa. For those who are wondering why my eyes are watering, it's not because I'm like so emotional that Tom's back on the show. I'm not feeling very well. A bit of a cold, I have a bit of flu. So yeah, it's not that I'm crying. My eyes just seem to like to water today. I think this might be a true test of this new resolute Aston Villa that Steven Gerrard's trying to implement. It does kind of feel that the next loss will automatically be everyone jumping back on Gerrard again, wanting him out the job. But he has steadied the ship in the last couple of games. The Man City game was a very good performance. Southampton was any 3 points is a good 3 points, even though it was a pretty turgid game to watch. But you could argue, I've been thinking about this recently. We've been saying for probably the whole year, got to be more solid, got to tighten up. So then when he's done that and he's picked up 4 points, which is a great return from those games, you shouldn't really knock it too much.
Yes and no. I think Man City. I struggle to remember, even back in the days of Alex McLeish, the kind of the animosity around the fan base at that point. It felt like since the Mings, McGinn, everything happening, it was just building up for Gerrard. And obviously the performances were terrible. The injuries came, the lack of transfers towards the end of the window. Everything was just on a kind of downward spiral for Gerrard. And ahead of that Man City game, I think you and I joked about it, that a hammering was coming.
I think every Villa fan, even the most reasonable Villa fan in the world, would have thought there was a hammering coming. I know I certainly did.
Exactly. And for him to pull out a performance like that was incredible. And the tide then shifted a little bit, and there was kind of a wave, certainly on social, of positivity and support for Gerrard, which is good. But I mean, the performance turgid is the right word. And I actually had that in my head before you said it. I think I might have taught you that word, because I think I've only ever heard it.
Fair.
I think I've only ever heard it.
I did go to school, Tom. I've been watching Villa my whole life as well, so I'm aware of that word.
But that was every win is good. 3 points are always appreciated. The performance was dreadful, and so I see what you're saying. I think these two games, Leeds and then Nottingham Forest, are going to be really, really big. Partly, as you say, to kind of see the after effects after the international break, whether Gerrard's kind of philosophy or whether the resolute nature sticks. But also, you've got 2 games now, Sunday and then next Monday, before you've got a run of 7 games in the space of 20 days, 25 days, whatever it is. It's a real hectic schedule before the end of before the start of the World Cup. So these are the last 2 very winnable games that you've got, where you've got a bit of breathing time. You get your players back after international break, and you can really kind of, like you say, set your stall out, show this is the vision for what I want Aston Villa to be. A few injuries there still, but he can. These are big games for Steven Gerrard.
Injuries almost force him to continue the defensiveness, I think, because Diego Carlos and Kamara were the 2 big signs. They were the 2 big changes to the Villa 11 this summer, and they're not going to be here for the rest of the year. So it is now back to that team that was pretty open and pretty easy to get through at the back end of last season now. So I imagine Douglas Luiz, as much as I've been advocating that he should be in the team, I'm not convinced he's a number 6. He's probably going to find himself back as the number 6 position, unless Dendoncker maybe plays there. But I don't think he's ever really played there for Wolves, although he does feel the best suited. So it's kind of like, if we're going back to the same kind of team as last season, he almost has no choice but to keep this compact nature. And I will say as well that has suited Konsa and Mings, especially Konsa's really, really picked up over the last few games. I was really getting on his back doing these shows in the lead up to the Man City game, because I just thought he was all over the place. But Villa have almost gone back to a more compact way of defending. It's almost suited Konsa, and I think Mings has been good all season.
Yeah, totally. And that compact nature is really going to fit in this game because you're going up against Jesse Marsh, who likes to play direct, fast, attacking. You've got to deal with Brendan Aronson, who's had a great start to the season and is going to cause, whoever it is in that centre defensive pairing and the person sitting in front of them, is going to cause them all sorts of bother. Who do you trust really to take out Aronson and keep him quiet all game? That's going to be a key battle there. I think that's going to be the biggest challenge that Gerrard has to face, because the defense is going to look a little bit different. There's going to be a couple of different personnel in there, whether Ashley Young comes back in or whether.
Well, I think Cash and Dean are possibly out. I mean, Gerrard's press conference is at 1 o'clock, so we don't know for a fact, but there's every possibility that neither of the first choice fullbacks are there. So that's your two first choice fullbacks not there. Your big centre backs on the side not there, and your defensive midfielder not there. That's a lot of players missing, isn't it?
I think so. I think Dean's definitely out, and Cash is a very big doubt. But like you say, we'll find out more a little bit later on. So what are you talking? Are you talking Concert centre back, or where does
Organstein? I can never say his name. He'll be at left back and Ashley Young at right back, I suspect. But I'm not against Ashley Young being. But at the moment, I'd have Ashley Young in the 11 somewhere, because I just think you saw in that Man City game the leadership that he offers, and he almost stabilised everyone else and kind of settled everyone down. I think at the moment there's an argument that even if both fullbacks were fit, you find Ashley Young a position in the team somewhere just as a lieutenant on the pitch.
I think the speed of the Leeds attack is going to cause us a little bit of issues there. With Sinisterra, I think, is down the right, and then Aronson probably in the middle or potentially on the left.
Bamford could be back as well.
So I mean, Rodrigo is their top scorer right now, and he's kind of doubtful. So I have terrible memories of Patrick Bamford.
I thought you said that. I've got terrible memory. I'm just nodding along. Yeah, you've got terrible memories of Patrick Bamford.
Both of those things are true. Obviously, him bagging a hat trick not so long ago against us. So I wouldn't be delighted to see him, but I think Rodrigo has 4 goals and an assist in his 5 games with Leeds this season. It's a really weird one because Leeds seem to be getting players back. Cooper's back, Ayling's back, Rodrigo potentially back, and they haven't played in a month. They haven't played since September 2nd when they got battered by Brentford. So it's really hard to predict how they're going to look and how much of a change March is going to make from that Brentford team because it was so long ago. But Villa are going the other way and losing players kind of left, right, and centre. So I think pace could be a problem for us, and but rust on both sides. It's going to be a weird one with 2 very different styles of play, I think.
Yes, Leeds beat Chelsea 3-0 at Ellen Road, which was a phenomenal result. And then I don't think they've won a game since then, actually. So your memory of Leeds so far this season is that game and in what was a really, really good display where you could see what Jesse Marsh wanted Leeds to be. But then if you follow that up by not winning the game, and they did get absolutely ripped apart by Brentford. Ivan Toney had an absolute field day. Villa haven't been the most prolific this season, but it does give you confidence that they can open Leeds up.
I hope so, but then you go back to the strategy that Gerrard has, and is he going to kind of keep compact and not play
the counter attack? I guess that would be. You could very easily. Villa were good on the counter against Manchester City. Looked dangerous. Could have arguably won the game at the end. If Villa set up in a similar way and played that front 3 again, Ramsey, Watkins, and Bailey. On the counter attack, Villa could be dangerous, but Jacob Ramsey's probably needed in central midfield because of the injuries.
Yeah, and I think Villa should expect to have more of the ball than they did against Man City, against this Leeds team. And so it's going to be slightly different in that way. But, Marsh's teams are athletic. They're not to say Man City aren't athletic, but, it's another different approach. I'm really interested to see, because I like Marsh. I liked him at Leipzig. It didn't click for him at all there. But
did you see much of him? I was going to ask you that because obviously you're in Germany. Did you see much of his Leipzig side?
Yeah, not in person, but obviously a lot of watching it on the TV and following him. Certainly as an American, he was very interesting. Tyler Adams.
Because that's you, isn't it? That you like an American. You like your American sports. An American working in the Bundesliga, that ticks all the Tom Julian boxes.
While that's true, it's also from a business standpoint, knowing the Americans in the league is also a useful point. So, I was rooting for him was rooting for him.
I
That
was
was
going
my
to say, I
American
think you've used
accent
the
there.
word rooting.
But anyway, it just didn't click. And the weird thing was that Tedesco came straight in after Marsh. Didn't really change that much, but it just worked. He had the right players. It just something wasn't clicking. So he's a passionate guy. He's an emphatic character, and I am pleased that it's kind of he's doing all right at Leeds, because I thought he might struggle this year. But I think he's going to be looking at this game as well, seeing Villa, 15th in the table. Leeds haven't played in a month, so he will see this as an opportunity at home to get to kind of banish the cobwebs, banish the thought of the Brentford result, which was actually really good for my fantasy football team, bringing in Tony that weekend. One of the only good things I've done in fantasy, I would say.
That's one more good thing than I've done this season.
So yeah, I think they'll be chomping at the bit to take all 3 points, and I think that the returning players that they've got, they will definitely be looking at this and saying, yeah, we can take advantage before their mad run starts as well.
Yeah, this was one of the games. It was Jesse Marsh was in charge actually that Villa did last season. Where I thought, oh, that's what Steven Gerrard wants Villa to be. I like the look of that when we went there and won 3-0. Scored some really nice goals. That day, Coutinho was absolutely thriving. Could have been the last good game or last world class game that he had actually, Coutinho, because he hasn't had too many games like that since. But that's the thing this season. With when I quite like Jesse Marsh as well. Something about him that I like, that I find endearing. And that Chelsea game, when I watched them, I was like, wow. And Chelsea, to be fair, haven't lived up to expectation this season at all. So that probably result at the time looked better than it probably was. But just the way they played, the tempo, you could see what he wanted. Gerrard's talking of Villa having to kind of go backwards to move forwards, and I just think other teams don't seem to have to do that. Why do we have to do that? Why we played that day against Leeds so well in February, March, whenever it was, and then now since then we've not played like that, and we're having to go back to basics. But in some ways, how does that move you forward in an attacking sense?
Yeah, and I think that comes then back to what you originally said about the Southampton win, and any win is a good win.
I
And
mean, it
actually,
is three. You can't complain at 3 points.
obviously not, but you want to see the progress of your side growing and being comfortable with each other, and really developing into a side that knows how it's going to play. And there's some things there that Gerrard can't control, the injuries that we've sustained to key players, but also there are some kind of fundamental issues there, the kind of positioning or the tactics, or I don't pretend to be in Gerrard's head. I don't pretend to know as much of the game that he does, but I really hope that in the next couple of days, next couple of games, that you'll see a philosophy starting to appear that has the kind of the foundations that we saw, like you say, at the end of last season, and that's the reason that Gerrard was brought in, not only to attract the big names, but he did a great job at Rangers. He has a style. It's not. I don't think it. He wants to play this kind of everybody behind the ball, counter attack, like
No, he
seemingly
doesn't.
very few counter attacked football. He wants to play, like he did, like expressively with, fast breaks down the wings, getting balls into Watkins. And we need to see that. And we can see that, I think, against Leeds and against Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, they're two games they're two teams that you can open up and have a go at attacking
Exactly.
wise. You can have a middle ground. You can be compact and solid, but you can still carry more of a threat going forward than we did against Southampton. There is a middle ground.
Yeah, totally. Where do you see, how do you see Watkins kind of stepping up to back where he was, 12 months ago, 18 months ago? How do we lift Watkins into what he was under Smith?
I think he's been good this season with very limited service. I
Mm.
think he's led the
That,
line on his own very, very well. I thought he got 2 assists and a goal so far this season. He didn't start the first game against Bournemouth, which I think was a big mistake. I think if Gerrard could turn back time, he'd put Ollie Watkins in for that game. I actually think he's done as good a job as he could have done this season, because Villa have been not good at all. You watched him in that Manchester City game. I thought he was absolutely excellent. I thought as a lone striker performance against elite opposition, a team at Villa's level, I don't think you could have asked for much more than what he gave you that day. I think he just maybe lacking a little bit of confidence on Ollie Watkins. Same as the whole football club. Ollie Watkins is suffering from Jack Grealish not being there.
Right.
Yeah, they had a lovely link up down that left hand side with him Target and Grealish floating around there as well. You know that he's not really recovered from Grealish not being there. He had a very good season in terms of goal output. In the end, his output wasn't too bad last season, but some of his performances were a bit lacking. But I know he worked hard in the summer, got some individual training. I think he's been good so far this season. I think Villa have got way more problems than Ollie Watkins being their main striker, I would say.
Exactly. So that's kind of what I was hinting at in terms of the service. You know, how
It's not like he's missed loads of chances this season, is it? I can't think of any.
So what does Gerrard need to do to change it to give him more of those chances, make us, give us a better chance at scoring the goals, essentially?
He's got to just settle on a system. Well, not a system because he's got his system in 4-3-3. He's got to settle on probably 8 or 9 as the core of your team. The 8 or 9 that play every week, and then chop and change other things based on who you're playing. But that front three has been different every game this season. I'm pretty sure. I don't think we've played the same front three for consecutive games. Just like until recently, we hadn't played the same centre back pairing. So whilst you've not got that stuff going on, you're not going to have any rhythm. You're not going to create partnerships. That's why Watkins, Target, and Grealish were so effective, because they literally play together every single week. That they were the team. And there's pros and cons to having a squad. But, those three, they played every week, and they had a lovely link up down that left hand side as Watkins used to drift there. Grealish coming inside, Target on the overlap. It used to work really well. That's the problem Villa have got this season. There doesn't seem to be any of those relationships. The only relationship on the pitch, on the ball, that I see is Luiz and Coutinho. And they haven't played together too many times, but they're the only two that I can see that I think they've got some form of link up, some form of relationship. The good teams, harping back years and years and years here, but Gary Neville and David Beckham down the right hand side, they had a good relationship because they played together every week. Villa's fullback and winger don't have those relationships because it's somebody different playing every week. So that's what Villa need. They need to get more harmony, get more players building those relationships, playing every week. And at the moment, they've not been able to do that because I don't think Gerrard's been able to settle on a team.
Yeah, and so if both players are fully fit, do you go Coutinho over Buendia? Can you play them together?
I think at the moment, I think Bailey needs to stay in the team and have a run of games, have a run of 90 minutes, because I think that's the only way he's going to get any rhythm. I think he's shown so far this season that he can be dangerous. So I think also he provides a bit of pace. I think right wing and Watkins picks itself, and then on that more left hand side, I think Brenda's ever really played from the left. He's always played from the right or in the middle, and so I just think because Coutinho has played more from the left, he'd be the one I'd pick. But I liked Jacob Ramsey there. I do think there'd be some games where you play Jacob Ramsey there and you try and firm your central midfield up a little bit. But with the people we've got missing, it's more difficult to do that now. That Man City, the team he picked for the Man City game, and Coutinho and Brende were both on the bench that day. I liked that team because it had Luiz in the central midfield as an 8 as well, which I understand is going to be more difficult to do now. But, Nakamba was a good player under Gerrard when he first came in. Really, really important. It's weird the way he's been frozen out completely so far this season. I don't think he's the best footballer in the world, but he was good for Gerrard when he first came in, and he did a job and he was effective.
He was almost, I think it was one of our best players in that early period. And it's really weird because then he got injured and people were lamenting that, what we're going to do without Nakamba. He'd made that position his own. And then he's just not featured again since. And that seems a very strange
Yeah, he had an injury, didn't he? But he had an injury. But this season, he's not even been on the bench some games, which I've just found completely strange, to be completely moved away from the team. I mean, him and Sanson are going to be in the 20-man squads now for the foreseeable. I would think with the people that Villa have got missing. It's weird because they've kind of been frozen out, and now you might need to utilise them. I know they're probably both professionals and that kind of thing doesn't matter, but it must have some kind of impact on the players, you would think.
Yeah, you think about your own situation when you're doing your Monday to Friday, or you get passed over for a job or anything like that. You're not happy about it, and you're not pleased with the people that are making those decisions. I don't think, in whatever field you work in, those emotions are exactly the same. So, you have to be a true professional, and you have to go to your job and do your job when it comes. But that's easier said than done. And if you're not match fit as well, jumping straight into a game like Leeds, which is going to be fast. It's going to be, they're a strong side physically as well. It's going to be that's a tough one to jump into in any Premier League game. But they're going to have to cope because we need them. That's the point of a squad. Yeah.
Go on then. The score predictions. I'm going to go 1-1.
Oh, you've taken it. You went early because you knew I was going to go 1-1.
I didn't know. You can say the same thing. You can copy me if you want. That's fine.
I can't see Villa winning, which is a bit frustrating. Because I'm back and I'm positive, I'm going to go 2-1 Villa. I think it's
literally in the space of 5 seconds gone. I can't see Villa winning, and then predicted Villa to win 2-1.
Yeah, because
in the space of 5 seconds.
Because I want to go 1-1, but I feel like that's so. What I'm going to say is it's going to be 1-1 until the 92nd minute, and then Conser's going to grab a goal from a set piece, and we're going to win 2-1.
Villa are renowned for their late goals, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
And centre back scoring. Absolutely, I think Conser or Mings have scored a goal for pretty much a year.
It's about time. That's why I'm playing the odds.
It is about time.
Listen,
it is about time.
I've worked something up with the producer Adam here before we go. So unless there's anything left on this actual game, I've got a game for you.
Oh, go on then.
So you and I were talking yesterday before we decided that I was going to come on about pre-match previews for classic games.
It was a good chat that was. So I enjoyed that chat a lot.
Yeah, for example, looking back at great games between Villa and Leeds and doing a pre-match preview on that instead of the actual game, which gave me a little idea. One of the first kind of real memories I have of the Villa was the Aston Villa 3, Leeds 2 FA Cup 5th round game.
Right.
So I've got the team here from that. I thought we'd do a quick squad game, not squad numbers, but can you name the starting Villa 11 from that game against Leeds?
I'm trying to make my screen bigger. Is it me making that screen bigger going to help me in any way at all? No, it's not. Is it really?
No.
I reckon I could have a good go. I might not get them all right, but I reckon I think I could probably do the 11 maybe. There's one I'm not sure of. Well, David James was in goal.
Yeah.
Actually, there's two I'm not sure of. So do I have to do it in order?
No, you do it any way you like.
All right. Back three would have been Ekiog, Southgate, Barra.
No.
It's not.
No, it's a back four.
No, it wasn't. It's back three. Villa never played with a back four in those days. But anyway, Ekiog, Barry and Southgate will have all played.
Take it up with transfer marked. But yeah, Barry, Ekiog and Southgate did all play. Yeah, you're right.
Alan Wright.
Yeah. Alan Wright, right.
Boateng.
Yep.
Merson.
Yeah, had a great game.
Yeah, went off with a bloody nose. Well, a bloody face.
Yeah.
The front two would have been Carboni and Joachim. There's two I'm not sure of. The right wing back, because it could have been Steve Watson or Mark Delaney, but I'm not sure which one it would have been. And then I'm not sure whether Tails was fit at the time, and if he wasn't, then it would have been Steve Stone. So I think I'm going to go Steve Stone over Tails. I've got a feeling Tails may have been injured.
You're right.
Am I? And then I'm going to go Delaney. Delaney or Watson's a killer here, because I really, it could be, it's a coin toss, that is. It could be either of them. I will go
10 out of 11 he's got.
I'll go Delaney.
Oh, no!
Is he wrong?
End, it's wrong.
He came on, though, didn't he? I've got memory of him being on the pitch at some point. I feel like he came on.
Doesn't matter to me. We were
came
so
on.
Close.
10 out of 11's pretty good.
Dan, you know.
I mean, Adam is limping through getting theirs up on the screen.
Yeah.
It's the slowest thing I've ever seen. I've named all the players, yet there's about 4 on the screen.
Oh, yeah. Well,
what is he doing?
That was
he's sitting there typing them in as I say them.
Can you name for me? Can you name the referee that day?
When you say for you, am I naming it or are you naming it?
Oh, your name. Well, I know the name.
Graham Poll.
Graham Barber.
Oh, I wouldn't have got that.
No, me neither.
The only 2 referees I could think of from there were Uriah Rennie and Graham Poll. They're the only 2 I could think of.
Graham Poll, I think, refereed the final, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Which Villa got to, which was, some more
He lost, of
heartbreak.
course. Yeah,
The
normal, standard.
Yeah. So there you go. Little fun game. Do you want to name the Leeds
Neil
team as
Cutler,
well?
Neil Cutler on the bench there.
Oh, I didn't
That
have the
day.
bench up.
Adam's just put it up. Neil Cutler on the bench. I mean, I am reading this at an incredibly small text, so if that's right, it may not be Neil Cutler on the bench, but I think that's what I can read there. I was unfortunate there. Because Delaney definitely came on.
You did a great job.
Should have gone Watson.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. That was a little bit
fun. That kind of thing, Tom.
Missed
that kind of thing. No one else does games for me who comes on the Villa View.
I'm all about the games.
That's what you bring. It's not quite squad numbers that everyone would have liked to have seen. Legacy podcast viewers would have liked a proper squad numbers game. But I liked that game. Nice little feature that, Tom.
The OG podcast listeners.
Well done.
No, thanks.
Right, before we go, let's mention our sponsors. BetMate, do get involved in the Villa View pot and try and win yourself some money, but please gamble responsibly. And Tom, one last plug for your fun run on Sunday.
Yeah, my fun run, my fun 26.2 miles in aid of the NSPCC. So I'm taking on the London Marathon on Sunday morning. I kick off at 10:10. If you're in London and you fancy watching the marathon, then please do shout my name loudly, maybe up the Villa View or something like that to just for fun.
Would that motivate you if you were going around? Tom?
Oh yeah, definitely. If I hear Villa View fans around the course, then that'd be great. The link to my Just Giving page is below, so please do sponsor me if you can. I appreciate the times, but if you can't, no worries. But if you can, then thank you so much. And then I will hopefully be watching the Leeds game with the London Lions if my legs still work. At 4:30 wherever they're watching. So if anybody knows where they're watching, well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, if anybody knows where they're watching, then hit me up. Otherwise, I'll find somewhere to watch it. I'm sure.
You'll find somewhere to watch it, but just put something on Twitter. Someone will know. I mean, maybe tweet the London Lions. That might be a good starting point. I'm going to say they might know where the London Lions are watching the game. That would be my recommendation too. It's been great to have you on as ever, Tom. As ever, you never come on anymore, but it's great to talk to you. Enjoyed catching up and talking about Villa with you like old times. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel with your post notifications on. We'll be back with a post-match point probably on Monday. I will imagine we could do Sunday, I suppose. We'll see what our schedules are like. Thanks ever so much for watching, and up the Villa.
Up the Villa.